Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for March of 2021. For you, Sagittarius, the themes this month are going to be organized around home and family, hearth, and the happiness that you can find there. And if you want to find out more about that and anything that you hear in this horoscope in a reading, the best choice would be the natal and transit reading. And you can find a link for that in the YouTube description below. I want to show you the chart right away because Saturn is moving through Aquarius, and it loves to be in Aquarius, which is great. It's traveling through your third house. It's going to be there all year. You might actually have it in your second house if you view your chart through a Placidus view. But I think it's important to know what is the area in which we got to take responsibility on any particular year, because wherever Saturn is, you're going to feel like you've got to discipline yourself. You got to pull it together. You've got to take responsibility and have some integrity. And for you, it is going to be the third house, most likely, which is the house of communication. So this year, you're going to have to really watch your words and how you speak to other people, how you listen to other people, how the back and forth goes. And it might be a good year for disciplining your voice or even having a writing practice. It's kind of an exciting thought, really. Now, if you do view your chart through a Placidus lens, which frankly I do, you might have Saturn traveling through the second house, which is the house of money. And if that's the case, you might feel like a little bit of belt tightening is in order, and you may have to really clean up things in your financial arena and get them organized in a better way. So there's some serious thoughts to begin your horoscope. You can find out more about Saturn's passage through Aquarius in our 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, there on YouTube. Well, Julia's got some thoughts for you about Mars and Mercury and Venus. Hey, Julia, take it away.
All right, Jamie. Hi, Sagittarius. I'll start with Mars. That's the planet of activity, action, and wherever we have Mars, we usually run into some conflict. And guess what? On March 3rd, it goes into your seventh house of partnership. So the seventh house can represent your romantic partner. It can also represent business partners or any other consultants you're dealing with at the time if you happen to be single. And Mars is going to stay in this house for the rest of the month, which means that you might run into kind of a feisty time with your partner. Maybe you guys are just annoying each other a little bit more than usual. And even good relationships can have a few extra arguments too at this time. But a really good way to kind of use this energy in a more constructive, through more constructive channels would be maybe going and doing some teamwork with your partner, like some real, a project together where you could really expend a lot of energy. That could totally help out. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, starts the month in the sign of Aquarius, which is your third house. This house Mercury loves to be with. And it's still recovering from the retrograde cycle that we were talking about last month. So if you want to learn more about that, you should totally check out our previous videos. But by March 6th, Mercury will be back to its regular speed again. So then that's sort of when we will really count the Mercury retrograde period to be over, and things should be sorted out a lot more easily. But as it begins the month in your third house of communication, this will be a wonderful time for getting out any writing, or if you have to learn something new, just kind of picking it up and absorbing it really quickly. Then Mercury moves into Pisces on March 15th, which is your fourth house of family and home. So during this period, your thinking might be a lot more on past matters, because the fourth house can also rule our past. So there might be some past issue which is affecting your present now that's really absorbing your attention. And with Mercury in the fourth house, you could be thinking about your housing situation a lot, whether you're planning on moving or what you can do to make your home and family life as satisfying as possible. And the last planet I'd like to talk about is Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships. She starts the month in the sign of Pisces, again, your fourth house of family and home. And this is kind of a nice homebody transit because wherever we have Venus is where we find pleasure, where we find harmony in our relationships. So great time to be getting along well with your family. Also a wonderful time to get along with the people you live with. And if you want to do something to beautify your home in some way, this is definitely the transit to do it. Then on March 21st, Venus moves into the 5th house, which she loves to be in because this is the house of dating. So you got a little extra dating luck for all the single Sages out there.
Oh, that's going to be so nice. Everybody else better get out of the way.
I know.
Well, Venus is involved also with both of this month's moons. The first one is happening on the 13th, and it is a Pisces new moon, which for you falls in your 4th house. And really, there's a big gathering of planets in Pisces this month, because that moon happens and then it finishes, and then right after that, Mercury moves into Pisces. So your 4th house is a pretty busy and full arena for much of this month. So there's some themes of home there. And then Venus's involvement is that Venus is in a conjunction with Neptune and Moon and the Sun, and then also square to Juno, another relationship planet. So there's a really big, relationship theme going on there in that moon, and we're calling it Dreams of Partnership. That's what we have named that moon. And because this is falling in your 4th house, it's going to be about the partnerships that you form at home with family members, like being a partner to your kid in your kid getting good schooling this, during this dreadful time when a lot of kids have to go to school via Zoom, being a good partner with your spouse in whatever way, that makes sense. So this moon really focuses on themes like that. Then a little later in the month, on the 28th, we have got a full moon in Libra. And there it is, falling in your 11th house of friends and community, opposite the sun and some other planets here in your 5th house of identity and self-expression. So there's an interesting polarity and balance going on with this moon around, how much do you want attention for yourself and do you want to do your own thing versus how much do you want to, exchange emotional energy, if you will, or just a give and take with community. Venus is involved in this moon too, right here with Chiron and the sun. And we've named this moon Love and Healing. Isn't that sweet? So I think that this moon connects, both of the moons really connect with Venus, first in Pisces and then here in your 5th house of creativity. So some wonderful things can happen there. And as Julia said, yeah, dating could definitely be one of them. So Aries season begins when the sun moves into Aries, and that is going to be on March 20th, right here. And that, of course, is your 5th house, and that's the spring equinox. And it just brings a whole surge of the energy of rebirth and the feeling of like that ability to start over and that feeling of hope and desire to just like, spring forth, shall we say. And so that brings me to the fact that this springtime is a really good time, and the late winter was too, for beginning new big projects. And the reason why it's so good right now, there are a couple of reasons behind it. One is that no outer planets are retrograde at all. And that has the wonderful effect of removing obstacles. So it's almost like anything that you begin now is going to not have self-sabotage built right into it. So that's really good news right there. But the fact that Mercury retrograde is over really takes the last monkey wrench out of the ointment. Or is that the fly out of? So really, March is a really good time for starting those big projects like buying a car or signing a lease or buying a home or, some really large property or starting a business, for example. And so I want to finish with this quote from Goethe, which you've heard before, but I think right now is a really good time for it. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And I'll leave you with that thought. And that's all we have for you today, Sagittarius. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share it widely, and subscribe to our channel. And visit us on the web at pandoraastrology.com, where you can find readings and classes and the monthly forecast and horoscopes too. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.